Welcome everyone to another night review. Today we have this 2021 Toyota RAV4 Prime, and in this video I'm going to give you a detailed look at these exterior lights, the interior ambient lighting, and take it out on the road so you can see how well these adaptive headlights do. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. I will also have a full detailed daytime review. Look in the description below. But if you're new, I do night review videos on a regular basis, so be sure to subscribe for more. But checking out the lights up front, first of all, every RAV4 Prime is going to give you the LED accent light and LED headlight and daytime running light. So this light going around there is actually the accent light, and the headlight acts as the daytime running light. The projector beams that you see right there are standard on every trim, but the accent light that you see at the bottom there, that vertical light on each side, is just on the XSE trim. And I really like it. I think that looks pretty nice for this RAV4. Another thing just on the XSE is an adaptive function, which I'll show you in a little bit. The front end is a little bit revised. You got some gloss black at the bottom and a different front bumper and fascia. You got an incandescent turn signal, just a regular bulb here, which is a little disappointing considering this is almost $50,000. Now this paint color on this RAV4 Prime is the supersonic red with the two-tone for the midnight black metallic roof. So you've actually got a two-tone look. You've got that turn signal standard in the mirror, the marker light on the side, and even from the side body you can see that vertical accent light pretty well. And just a quick note, those are 19-inch wheels on this XSE. The SE is going to give you 18-inch wheels. But when you come to the back, you've got a similar design to the non-Prime models here. You got LED taillights standard, so you've got LED function in there, but you've got an incandescent, again, turn signal back here, and the reverse light as well. And I'll let you go ahead and take a look at the brake and reverse lights. And the license plates lights are actually LED, so kind of mixed bag here. You've got some LED and some regular bulb. But this RAV4 actually has a hands-free lift gate, but I'm just going to touch the little button. A power gate is standard on every trim, and you can see those bright LEDs right there. There's one soft non-LED light back here on there. It's got a switch that you can flip it on or not. But as you can see, this is pretty dark back here. It gives you just a little bit of light, which is helpful, but not nearly as helpful as some competitors. And then just a quick look at the back seat. First of all, you've got no light for your window switch. You actually have a light for your heated seat, because you got heated seats on this particular model. And then you're still gonna have just a regular bulb on the inside up there. It's not LED, it is manual flipping, but it lights this area up okay. It's just not as bright as some. And there are a couple of charging ports down there. They just don't have any lighting, which most vehicles do have backlighting for those. And then I want to show you on this side, you've got a little bit of approach lighting. It doesn't actually happen when you approach it, but if you unlock the vehicle, you'll get a little puddle light coming from the mirror on each side. So it'll illuminate next to the ground. But also one nice feature, since this is a plug-in model, you even get a little light right next to your charging port. That is actually helpful parking in my garage to have a little extra light to plug in. And now we're inside. Let me show you all these interior features and details. You got an illuminated push button start. You got a nice little startup, and I'll show you those headlights in a little bit. But first, let's start on the steering wheel. This is where you'll see some of the cost cutting from Toyota. Not on the steering wheel, but I'll show you in a little bit. You've got this nice gentle blue backlighting for all the necessary controls on there. But over on the door panel, look, there's literally only one light. It's just for the driver's window. The mirror controls, the locks, none of that is lit up. So let me show you. There you go. You can see what you're missing. Plus you've got memory settings up there too. You can't see those at all. One thing that I like is this little ambient lighting right here. I'll talk more about that in a second. That's a little storage area, but also these controls down here. There's some good controls, and they all have illuminated buttons, which is great because this one on the left is the brightness control for the interior. So it changes the brightness of all of the buttons. It also changes the brightness of this instrument cluster, and it changes the brightness of your AC controls and the controls down here. It does not affect the ambient lighting, but I'll talk more about that in a second. The next thing you're gonna wanna know is this light, this button with the A in the headlight. That's to turn on your automatic high beams, and we'll go through that in a little bit. Every RAV4 is going to give you this same digital cluster, which can be semi-customizable. You've got a different gauge cluster because this is the plug-in hybrid, so you don't have a typical tachometer, but I talk more about this in the full review. And then in front of us, we've got this optional head-up display as well, which can show you your tachometer, sort of, your eco tachometer, your lane system, the gear, and even your speed. So it's nice that you can see all of that right here. You can turn it off if you want to. And then as we move across the dash, we have the optional 9-inch screen, but an 8-inch screen is standard on the SE. The XSE gets this 9-inch. You're still gonna get physical illuminated buttons, both the left and the right, that have, that have a volume knob and tuning knob. And if I turn up the brightness, it doesn't change the brightness of the screen. Using the dial turns up the brightness of the buttons. Now, I talk more about this system in another one, but you've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Check out my full review for a little bit more details. But for light controls, go to Setup, and then go down to Vehicle, and then Vehicle Customization, and then Light Settings is basically all you get. You just got this sensitivity right here. There's nothing special with changing the lights on here. Your climate controls are illuminated very nicely, and all the buttons associated with it. You've got some ambient lighting down in this storage area, which also has a wireless charger and a plug-in, but no backlighting to it. But I like the little ambient lighting. It just is kind of annoying because if you actually have your phone right there, there's like a little glare, almost like a little light shining off of the reflection of the phone. But that's a minor complaint. You could always put a little piece of tape under there if you wanted to, but I'll talk about the ambient lighting more in a bit, just a second. These buttons right here are all well illuminated. You've got a parking brake, brake hold, your EV controls, which I talked more about in the test drive, and your drive mode controls too. The cup holders have just a little bit of light right there, but then there's zero light whatsoever inside of this armrest. So as you can see, no light whatsoever in there, which would be kind of nice. The passenger side doesn't have any controls either, or any lights, not even on its window switch. But it's really nice. You've got this ambient lighting in this little storage bin right here. It's a soft glow, and that's rubber lined too, which is nice. There's also footwell lighting on both sides. Right up overhead, we have the optional rear view mirror that is automatic dimming with a digital rear view mirror. You've got garage controls. That's literally a camera behind the vehicle, so you can see perfectly behind you even at night. Now, one way that Toyota definitely cut costs is up here. These are where your lights are, but the light controls are not illuminated at all. You've got actual buttons for the controls, so you can't press on the light. You have to find the button, and at night you might not be able to find it right away. It's next to the door light, it's next to all the other lights. It's kind of annoying, and these are not LED lights either. They are bright enough to cover, you know, everything in the interior that you need to find, but, you know, just a cost-cutting measure in a $50,000 vehicle. There are also moonroof controls up here, which have no lighting at all. But more about the ambient lighting. So it looks a little bit overpowering right now. I have it turned up. I'm gonna turn this down. So the button controls are less, but the ambient lighting doesn't actually change. And I haven't found a setting in here to actually turn the ambient lighting off. You can change the display brightness of this screen. You gotta go to menu and then go to display, and then you can adjust the brightness on here, which is separate from your actual brightness controls for your digital cluster. But watch this. Like I said, I can't find a way to turn the ambient lighting off, but when you go into drive, it will dim. So that dims to where it's almost non-existent. So it's really faint. As you can see over there, it's much less. Now, if you don't like the ambient lighting at all, you could always put tape over where the little light shines down. Like you can see a little light right there. And same thing in the center console. You could cover it up if you really wanted to, but as far as I know, you cannot change the color of it. And then a quick look at the glove box. There's also no light in there. That is really surprising. However, both mirrors will get an automatic vanity light. And when we look at the IIHS safety ratings, these ones with the adaptive lights get the best possible rating, which is a good. I'll put a map up or a chart so you can see the beam patterns and the length of the beams on the road. But the other trims, the non-adaptive headlights, even the XSE standard model gives you the worst rating possible, a poor rating, partially because of glare, but also because the high beams are really lacking, and in corners the lighting is bad. And then off to the distance, on my long distance look at the headlights, you can kind of get an idea of how far away we are. It is pretty far, and I told you about the headlight ratings, but you can see all the pipes, or the posts, the red post and fire hydrant are lit up. There's a little bit of lighting on the hill. It's pretty common. It drops down so we don't blind oncoming drivers. And then the brights, the high beams, are not as great at illuminating the hill. They seem to sit a little low, but they still do okay. Definitely good enough, but let's get it out on the road. All right, y'all, let's get going on this test drive in this RAV4 Prime. So the main reason for this test drive is so you get a good idea of what it's like to be the one driving the RAV4 Prime at night, especially with these adaptive headlights. They turn side to side as you turn on dark roads, and I'll show you what that looks like up close on dark roads in a little bit. I'll switch over to that camera soon, but to start with, I just want to talk about a couple of things here. So we have an automatic dimming mirror in our model. You can also have it be the mirror camera. I'm going to keep it on the automatic dimming mirror so that's not distracting. None of the side mirrors will be automatic dimming, but one thing I love is that the automatic high beam function is controlled with a button. I kind of wish it was at the end of the light stock, but it's down there. But I love how you don't have to flip the stock forward and backwards or do anything to turn them off or on. You just push a button. So I have the button pushed, so the automatic high beams will go on and off on their own, and they're on right now. And a quick note about this RAV4 Prime is that it is really, really quick. So I have it in hybrid mode, and just gonna do a little bit of pedal down. You get a punch in the back with this thing. I mean, it's impressive. It's pretty crazy. Just over 300 pound-feet of torque because of this plug. But the automatic high beams were on, and they turned off as soon as we got to that car there. So that's a big plus. We'll see how sensitive they are on a dark road. But as you can see, in a well-lit road, you can still see the beam pattern somewhat. But we'll get on a dark road in a second. But overall, the ambiance in here, I like it. I like the light blue color. I know some people prefer a red or a white, so I'd love to hear your thoughts below, but I like the way this looks. I wish you had more control over the ambient lighting. It just automatically dims when you're driving, and then it's kind of bright the rest of the time when you're in park. I wish you had control of that. You really don't have any control. Toyota should give you control of that. But let's go ahead and get on a dark road. All right, we're about to turn onto the dark road where you'll get a better look at the headlights and the adaptive function, and even maybe some of the automatic high beams, so you can get a good look. But let's go ahead and switch cameras right now. And the high beams are on, coming over the hill. High beams are still on, and right here I usually like to turn the automatic high beams off so we can see the beam pattern of the low beams. So as we flatten out, I've got really good distance on my lane. The other lane's not bad either. We'll see how they are going around the corner. Watch for them to move up the road. A little bit of a delayed turn, but they are up there, and that does look good helping out going around that corner. These are the low beams still. I'm going to turn the automatic high beam function on, and they turned on right away. High beams are still on, even though, okay, there's a truck up there, and the high beams were on, and they shut off. Now the high beams turned back on again. I can see pretty good. The high beams are definitely not as good as I was hoping for. Now back to the low beams. The low beams do a good job. You've got a good solid beam pattern, especially in my lane. High beams on again. I turn those on automatically, or I turn those on. And the high beams also are adaptive, so they can turn to the right. And when you've got the adaptive high beams, you've definitely got some really good distance. So there's a light up here on the side of the road to the left that almost always turns off the high beams. We'll see if it does here too. High beams are still on, and it turned the high beams off. So it's a little sensitive to some, but it turned the high beams back on right away. And the distance is not quite as good. Most of the time right here I can see really well onto that hill, but they're still doing good enough. The low beams here, the low beam distance is good. The oncoming traffic lane, not quite as good, which is normal, but it's still good, especially in my lane. My lane illuminates pretty far down the road. And in terms of width, these have a good beam pattern out to the side. You can kind of see it's not great, and we don't have fog lights, but considering we don't have fog lights, I think these do a good job in terms of width. I'm gonna turn the automatic high beams back on. So they are pretty responsive. You know, I haven't had perfect success with them, in day-to-day driving either, but nobody has flashed me either. I haven't really unintentionally blinded somebody. They're just a little laggy sometimes. And somebody just crossed in front of us up there and they stayed on the high beams. Now the low beams are on for whatever reason, I don't know. Sometimes when you get to a certain speed, they turn off, but usually that's 20 miles an hour. And they just turned back on, and then they'll turn off automatically once you get to low speeds, like 20, 18 miles an hour or so. One more quick little run here. Going around the corner. Whoa, there's some power in this thing. You can see the lights turn a little bit side to side. So the high beams paired with the adaptive function really help out going around some corners. The high beams themselves in a straight line are not great, but the low beams do a good job. So overall, I would agree these are good headlights, but it's a real shame that the lower trim headlights, the non-adaptive headlights, get the worst possible rating, partially because of glare. But if you've driven those, let me know. But I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. I hope y'all learned something from this video. Be sure to check out the full review coming soon after this. Look in the description below. But go ahead and have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.